Okay, so hi everybody. We are now recording Mohammed, would you mind watching out for people who need to be admitted and just admit them for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Um, thank you,
Oh, I'll
Mohammed.
take care of that.
And Aoife, you were also, I hope you're still a co
I don't know. I don't know if
No,
the
watch. Anyway,
co-host
Mohammed, you're
disappeared
a
when I got kicked,
co-host,
but yeah.
so lovely. So just keep watching out for people. Okay, so I had introduced myself. I'm Rena. I'm the chairperson of BICS. I have both adjudicated, organised BICS, and also this year we instigated having a review of our application process. So we've done all of that. So I have Aoife with me here today. Hi, Aoife. Aoife is one of
Hello.
the BICS student executive members. So if you want to say a few words, Aoife.
Hello. So my name is Aoife James. I am on BICS as a student networking representative. I am also the social media officer. So if you've seen the weekend wisdoms and those little vox pops that have been going on for the last while, that is me. You might recognize my face from that. I've been on the BICS committee for a few years now, but I'm also from MTU Cork Societies. I'm in MTU Cork Anime and Manga, and yeah, excited to talk through some things. I have some experience both competing and winning at this thing, so hopefully I could share some words of wisdom.
Absolutely. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the BICS website, bics.ie, just so you get a little bit familiar with what you need to do. So if you go to this section here, Awards 2025, you'll see this down here. This is last week's video, and I'll also be putting up this video because this is our homepage here, so you can see last week's video. But as we get near to the awards, this page will keep updating. So the place to watch out for is how to enter the awards. Our new video this week will be underneath there as well. And last week's was all about your portfolios. We had the two chief adjudicators there, and they gave a lot of really valuable information. So, welcome to everybody that has joined us. If you'd like to change your name to what college and society you're with, that's wonderful. But don't tell us if you have just one in your college and you're going to be representing yourselves at BICS, because this will become a surprise to everybody when they get to BICS. Okay, mind you, of course, you could all have it up all over social media. So, if somebody really wanted to find out, they would be able to do so. Anyway, this is our BICS Awards section here, and this is your links to everything. So, you've got things like uploading your application form if you want to find out more about the BICS rules. And these have information in relation to every different type of category. So it's a really good idea to have a look at that and make sure that what you're entering for, you actually are eligible to enter for it, because there would be nothing worse than doing all the work on getting to BICS. And it is a lot of work. And you arrive there and you say, no, you can't be a best new society because you've been up and running for 3 or 4 years, or you can't be a best departmental society because you're only up and running for a year. So it's a good idea to know what the rules are in relation to everything. You can't be best fresher because you were in another college. You may be in your first year in this college, but if you're in another third level institution, that means you're not a fresher. So there's that. I will have a look at those. The awards timeline, what's going to happen there. If you're dying to know how colleges have done in the past, you can look at the leaderboard here. It's a bit of crack. I won't dwell on it but it's a bit of fun. And what's really useful as well is we've kind of introduced something this year as well, where we're looking at is it the same societies winning over and over again? So basically, there's lots of awards. If you win 2 years in a row in a particular category, you are not eligible to enter that the next year. So be aware of that as well. You've got past winners. So here's the awards rules, some of the things that you might want to know about. So we've got information on the eligibility, portfolios, and then the specific rules. So to enter best cultural, best civic and charity, academic department most improved, your society must have been set up for a minimum of 2 years from March the 11th, prior to March the 11th, 2025. A society cannot be nominated in more than best of one of the best society awards, so you can't enter two. Um, a best new society, and again, if you win any of the above categories, 2 years in a row, you may not enter this category for the third year. You can enter another category. Best new society, has to be in existence in its first 2 years. Some colleges will have a provisional year and then a full year, so that's very important. Most improved must be in existence for a minimum of 2 years, because you can't go from we didn't exist and now we do, so we're really improved. Events, are events that have taken place since March the 11th, 2024. So if you weren't able to enter for last year's BICS Awards and your event happened in April, late March, April, May, etc., that's eligible to enter for this year. Best individual can't win this category 2 years in a row. Best fresher must be your first year in a third level institution, and each college must nominate an individual who adheres to this. Best InterVarsity is interesting in that it is one application per college, but there is one criteria that allows other people to enter a second one. So there are a number of very big national intervarsities. For example, ISDA for drama. There's the Musical Society Inters. There's a big DJ one. There's the dance one. So those ones that are very well established and move from college to college are indeed organised by a subcommittee from societies. They are eligible to enter, and another InterVarsity can enter from your college, because there are lots of really interesting smaller InterVarsities happening as well. Okay. So, but you, as I said, you can go back into that and look at that at any time. So, is everybody okay on that? Yeah. Okay. So, the next thing we're going to look at is the application forms. So, they're all here for you. So, I'm going to look at a sample. So, best
Hold on,
civic.
stop for a sec.
Sorry? Has anybody got a question? Hold on. If somebody could just turn their sound off, maybe. Okay, so right, we look at best civic charity, because that's kind of an interesting one. It's got an extra little piece of information on it. Okay, so now where did that disappear to? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I presume you can't see that, so I will have to just give me 1 second. I have to stop sharing and I'll have to reshare. Hold on. So share. Okay. So so best civic charity and layout would be nice. Yeah. There we go. Don't want side by side. I want print layout. No, it's not letting me do that. Anyway, okay, can we cope with this? Oh yeah, maybe if I make it that size, it's better. Okay, so here we go. So there's all the information at the top. Each of them have quite a piece of information on the first page. So make absolutely sure that you have read that, how you need to upload it, all about your hyperlinks. So usually in your application form, just so that you're aware, this is a printed copy. So putting something in like see link here isn't helpful. Even a big hyperlink, because the adjudicators won't be able to type all that out and find it. So that's all, okay? Can everybody hear me?
You're good now.
Am I back?
Yeah.
You're fine.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I just got pushed out there. Okay, so we were looking at this particular application form here, and I was just showing that there are 4 different areas that you could be an expert in, and you only have to pick one of them: fundraising, volunteering, or adequacy. So if you're entering BICS, you just need to be aware of what's your strength, because you don't answer all of those questions. Now, you still answer all these questions here. You still put in your organization. And this is the same for any of the applications. So your aims and objectives, these should be your aims and objectives in bullet points. These are the aims in your constitution. And the best tip is under each aim, actually answer the question. So each point, detail how you met this aim and objective. And then your appendix, the great thing about the appendix is a really boring looking PDF that literally is the data that the adjudicators need to know. Because what people talk an awful lot. Adjudicators need. They will do beautiful portfolios that are very pretty, but may not actually contain the data that we need. So if you look here, you can see that in your appendix, there isn't a maximum word count. There is a maximum word count in each of the boxes. So in the appendix, you put a hyperlink to your constitution. So this is where you're going to put all your hyperlinks, okay? And you're going to save that as a PDF, and then you're going to upload that in the application form. So here you can see we're looking for a number of committee meetings in person and virtual, what form did your meeting takes. So very clear instructions on what information we're actually looking for, okay? Again, when it comes to membership, how many members do you have? How many students in your college? What percentage is that? Because if you have a college with 1,000 students and you have 100 members, you have 10% of the college. If you have a college with 20,000 students and 100 members, you have a much smaller percentage. So that's kind of an important thing as well. So in your portfolio, you wouldn't put in the list of names, but if there's somewhere that shows how many members you have, you could include that, a screen grab from that, a letter from your society's officer to confirm it. And if you're including photos of your members at events, make sure you mix that up a little bit so it's not always the same 4 people at everything. Even though they might be the best dressed or might look the nicest. What can tend to trying to figure out, God, how many events do they actually have? So in your appendix, if, for example, you have a calendar, you'd literally copy and paste your calendar, and then a person could see very clearly how many events you have. You might just put in a list in your appendix of all the events chronologically so somebody can see them. If it's your calendar, your description will be sort of advertising what's happening in the future. If you don't have a calendar, it could just be a list with maybe a short actually get to tell us more about your top 3 events. This is good social events, and we showed movies or whatever you were doing. You can not try to sift through this big long list. And then you get to give details on your top 3 events that showcase what your society is all about. So that can be quite useful as well. Please detail the challenges. And the importance about challenges is just like it's looking for 3 challenges in a bullet point. But mostly we want you to emphasize how did you overcome them? Like, there's no point in telling us terrible, tragic stories if you didn't find a way to overcome them. Can I just check that everybody can hear me, that I haven't disappeared again?
You're fine, Rena.
I'm still here. That's
Yeah.
a miracle. That's great. Okay, and then we go to finance. Finance can be a little bit confusing. So the great thing about the appendix again is that you can put in a very nice clean balance sheet. You can include all the list of your income and expenditure because you're creating just a simple document that you're saving as a PDF. And then you want to talk about this is the one where people lose an awful lot of marks. Basically, if you put in a decent balance sheet that shows your opening balance, your closing balance, a summary of all your income, like what sources was it from, not all the details, and a summary of your expenditure and what you're left with at the end of the year, you're going to get full marks in there, okay? And it doesn't matter whether your turnover was €1,000,000 or €500. They just want to see that you can actually give a balance sheet, okay? Next question is where you get double the marks, and this is telling how do you manage your accounts? Who's responsible for them? Did you do any fundraising and sponsorship? You can even include unsuccessful sponsorship with an example of, sponsorship letter that at least you tried, and it can be quite hard to get it. It isn't also just about money you received. It can also be donations of food. If somebody gave you a free venue, free hoodies, merchandise, whatever they gave you. And these resources as well. So, for example, a society might have got protective gear that they needed, or whatever it is that they need, or a piece of equipment that they need. And this is going to be a piece of capital equipment that lasts over the years. That's really important. So this is not just about money. It's about the accruing things that are useful to you. So utilize and tell us all about that, okay? Then there's your publicity. So we've simplified this question because we want to know all the ways that you advertised. And what's really important, and as a judge for myself, it's really interesting to read all of the stuff. But what I really want to do, and that's what your appendix is for, I want to click on your Instagram. I want to go in to see your Twitter. I want to see that video. So if all of those links in your appendix, I would prefer as an adjudicator spend half an hour browsing in on your social media presence to see how you're getting on. And then you can include in this the list. Have you got any statistics on how successful you were? What your insights? How did you use these methods to foster a sense of community? So basically, you go Instagram and you go, we have this many followers, and like some of our posts were really popular. We got lots of feedback from people. Then Instagram was it really helped us foster a sense of community by whatever way. And actually, we designed really intriguing posts or videos that really got people engaged. Here's an example of how we did that. And was this reflecting the engagement and the attendees at your event? So you might have started off at the end of the year, beginning of the year, and you're getting maybe 20 people were turning up, and we're saying, how are we going to get people to know about us? And then you put a campaign together, use some new methods. It could be shout outs and lectures. You could have done flash mobs. You might have had an information stand. It could have been a competition you ran. It could be all sorts of things. It could be because you collabed with some other really popular societies. Think outside the box when it comes, because everybody's using Instagram, everybody is using all the social media, so everybody is probably emailing their members. But did you do nice quirky emails that people were interested in? Did you do a newsletter? So really, like, did your poster stand out? Did you do a poster run every week? Well, we decided not to do posters because we were the Environmental Society and we didn't want to waste paper. But because we didn't use posters, we did this instead. So let's hear about what you did and why it is useful in those 4 ways. And then remember, it's really important to have all your links in your appendix. You don't need screen grabs of this was this post, this was this post. Give us the links. The judges can look for themselves, okay? And then you can put anything into your portfolio that you weren't able to share via links. And also, it's a good opportunity for people to see. Now, top tip for you is, how successful was your society? So getting in your portfolio comments from your members, little quotes. Cybersecurity saved my life. I was really lonely before I joined them. Chemical society. Who knew chemistry was so exciting? I've now made my lifelong friends, and I'm actually deciding to do a PhD in chemistry. I would never have thought of that before I joined society. So if you can get some good quotes like that. Also, from your committee, it's really useful. You can say, oh, Mary was the auditor. and Mary's job was to run meetings, and I'm already asleep because that's not very exciting. But Mary might put in a comment to say, I found the committee really great to work with this year, and something about something a little bit personal. And that can be in your portfolio with a little photograph. Those sort of things really make the judges feel that they know you. And the appendix is cold hard facts, which often is missing from your application or your portfolio. Your application, we begin to hear your voice a little bit, and your portfolio, we begin to see what it is that the society is all about. And that's kind of the way to think about it. So then this application form then, so all of the other applications, best departmental, look the same as this, and it's just this little
And
bit.
I just hop in.
Yes.
Could I tap in really quickly on that PR section as well? Something that I'd advise you guys do. So if the judges are taking a quick glance at your social media, just for those purposes, just to the links or the handles, make use of Instagram highlights, because your stories have a lot more than your posts might. They have a lot more behind the scenes. So neatly organized highlights that judges can really quickly look into. It'll look very impressive.
Yeah, thank you, Aoife. That's great. Best cultural and social is the same as the beginning of this application form. There's just a little bit more marks in each area, because you don't have these extra 20 marks for the different areas that you might. Again, do not fill in more than one of these particular areas, because you will only be marked on one. Okay, so that's that one. Now I just need to reshare, because I have to go back into the website. Isn't it just wonderful? Okay, so right. So as I said, best cultural and social, very similar to that. I would say the same tips. Best academic department. Let's get one extra question. What is your relationship with the department, and how did you help promote, the subject matter that you were doing? So that's just to be aware of that. Best event and best intervarsity are very similar application forms. So I'll just open up best event here for you. And again, I have to stop sharing. Stop sharing. It would be wonderful if there was some magic way to pop between things, but there isn't. Okay, so best event is literally about a best event. Oh, top tip for your society if you're doing best departmental. Oh, best new would be the same as the others. Best new, however, is really just about the year. The others are about this year, but you can utilize the opportunity if you're best civic charity, best social and cultural, or best departmental academic. You can utilize the fact that if you did improve from last year, even though you're not going in as most improved, you can still say, when you're explaining things, you're asked about your committee. Well, we really built in our committee this year, and whatever. If you can imagine, the adjudicators, like all humans, love a story. So what we want to do is to be brought into your world, brought on a journey of discovery about. So you need to hook. It's you. What is your hook? What is the thing? What are you all about? And that needs to hop off the page. So it could be that, like, even though you did a fabulous year, but not only did we a fabulous year, but we really ramped things up from the previous year, rather than, yeah, we do this every year, we did it well this year as well. Isn't quite as exciting as somebody saying, but we came up with a great new idea as well. So don't leave out that sort of information. Best event is literally about the event. But in your appendix, there is no harm. I don't know if any of you do end of year reports where you'd actually give a list of your events, who's on your committee, how much money, your balance sheet, and a few other pieces of information. There is no harm in your appendix for best event to put your event into the kind of the world of your society. So, for example, you did a great event, but in fact, it was the only event that you did that year. Won't be quite as impressive as, yes, we did this amazing event. Plus, by the way, just we're not going to dwell on it, but just in our appendix, just have a look at all the other things that we did. Kind of is just a little bit more impressive. So keep that in mind. So again, you've got all the information on that first sheet. It again, like all the other applications, actually tells you what's needed in your appendix. So you can see here, list of your committee names, positions and roles, list of events chronologically can be taken from your calendar, hyperlink to your website or profile, your constitution, a full doc or a link to the constitution, if you have a safety statement or any other publications. You might have, like if you're a drama society, you might have a guide to putting on a show, or a chemistry society might have come up with a really, beginner's guide to chemicals, how to, or kitchen chemicals or whatever, So whatever, if you've got some interesting documentation, you could just link them in here. Finance, but in all your income, all your expenditure, bank statements, or if you don't have your own account, you can get a letter from your society's officer to confirm that all your finances are correct. And in publicity, it's all your hyperlinks, your social media, your videos, linked to any local or national media, etc. So that information is at the beginning of all the applications. So you can see here now for best event, we have just tell us a little bit about your event, and then how does it fulfill your society's aims and objectives? Again, remember you're going to link to your constitution. Also, bullets are a really good idea there. And then we've kind of broken this down, actually just give us information. So you've got your members, students in your college, staff in your college, students of other colleges that might have, who were you targeting? So for example, if it was a musical, for example, that was put on in Limerick, you might have been targeting the local Limerick community, but maybe the county of Limerick. You might have been targeting people as far as Clare. You might have been targeting the schools to come along because the show you put on was suitable for school children. Whoever your target audience is there, and then you kind of if there was another group like a charity that you were fundraising for, all of that goes in there. It's nice numbers, very easy to see, okay? Then who participated? So give details of all the different cohorts of people who attended, including committee, members of the public and staff. This can be a list with numbers if you wish. And then how did your event benefit society members and contribute to student life? Did it contribute to the wider community? Again, it gives you, remember, you've got your target audience listed above. So let's get a bit more. This lets us hear the kind of soul and heart of you. It's not just about numbers, okay? Were you creative? Was your event original? Your event doesn't have to be original, by the way, but did it differ somewhere from last year? Did you improve something? Did you do anything new? About it. Again, your challenges mostly, and this is really important to have them, but be sure that they were about improvement. Mohammed, can you still hear me? Because my internet is going unstable again.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
very good.
can.
Lovely. And do you intend to run your event next year? Okay. Finances are actually the same. And we've a little bit more detail here in your finances, but everything that I said to you the last time is exactly the same. It's not just about money, it's resources. It's also if you, as I said, sent out letters to sponsors and weren't successful, you include some of them as well, okay? And then again, we've got your all about the publicity, which is the same as the other one. Again, you're putting in each type of publicity to use, and then you're kind of explaining them. All of them as well have an optional additional information. If you feel that there's something you want to tell the judges that wasn't covered already, that is there for you. So that's that application. Best InterVarsity is very similar to that. So now, okay, sorry. Any questions so far? We did okay. Okay, so as
Yeah,
I
I have
said,
a question.
go for it.
Just to clarify, how would we put like links to Instagram posts in the application? Not the portfolio or the appendix, just the
No,
application.
no. The application is a printed document, so the judges can actually sit and not go blind looking at a computer screen. They've got biros, they've got highlighters, so the application is still going to just be a piece of paper. So that's why photos in your application, hyperlinks in your application are no use at all, which is why we've introduced the appendix. The appendix it doesn't have to look pretty, it's literally a document of data and all your links, and it's a PDF, and you upload it in your there's a section in the application uploading um, 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 form that allows you to upload your application. That's just that we know you have it done, but 3 copies of that will be delivered to the hotel on the Wednesday by 12 o'clock. Physical copies, okay? And the time is up on the deadline because we meet the adjudicators in the morning and then they go to their tables and they all get the 3 application forms. And I'll talk to you about the portfolios in a second, but they will have access to the soft copy of your appendix. That will be in, they will all have access to a folder that has your appendix in it. And the other, yeah, so keep your hyperlinks to that. If you're giving us a physical portfolio, not a virtual portfolio, you'll have to put in QR codes. But here's the problem with QR codes is that it's really on a phone and it doesn't necessarily show the thing off best. So to be honest with you, your hyperlinks where they can see it are better. And you can put in screen grabs if you want to in your portfolio, and reference back to your appendix, page something of our appendix, just so that you can catch somebody's eye. But again, the live thing, I'm sure you'd agree, Aoife, that seeing the live Instagram is an awful lot better. I mean, I have gone, blind looking at these tiny little screen grabs of something where you can't actually read anything. And you're saying, if only I could just click onto their Instagram. Like, I personally start Googling the society to try and find their Instagram or their social media as a judge myself, so I can get a better idea of what the society is like. My goodness, how wonderful it would be for a judge not to have to do that.
I'd say for as well, if you're a society that uses TikTok as well as Instagram, if it's possible. So like you can link into your TikTok as well. But say, for instance, if you wind up in a category that has a good few contestants, the judges might wind up just clicking into one, and Instagram is usually the one they go to. So if there's any TikToks that you have on a TikTok account, if you want to upload those as reels or even pop them on stories, and again, the highlights, because say, for instance, if I'm looking at a million different things, I'm going to be like, okay, awesome, there's a hyperlink to an Instagram, click into that, quick scroll through the page, quick hop through some highlights, and yeah, like it's you need to look impressive at a glance.
Yeah, yeah. And the judges, so in all the categories, so they say best charity civic, best cultural social, best academic department, best event, best individual, best new, best fresher, most improved, are for both large and small. So the judges might have up to 7 or 8 applicants in any one. That's a lot to read, and that's why the number of words are important. And be succinct, and please try and use um easy to understand language. Becoming completely flowery and overblown is irritating. I don't find out anything more about you, so you can have a voice. Your society definitely can have a voice, and I'm not saying simplify your language, but if it looks a bit like ChatGPT, that you do not do that, because the judges will know, and they will be really annoyed. So just do not do that. We just want information. We want to hear your voice. We want to get an idea of what you're like, and kind of make it accessible. I sometimes you get applications and you've read a full page and you're going, what point were they trying to make? And the judges are desperately trying to give you marks. This is the important thing to be aware of. They really want to give you marks. So they're going, okay, what did we find out about that society? How many events do they actually have? I mean, I remember one application a few years ago I was reading, and it was like, whatever, they put down some of their events, but then in kind of in their portfolio there was pictures of these things, and we're going, what is this? It wasn't mentioned in their application. Did they do these events? What events were these? And you kind of go on to social media. God, why did they leave that out? Then when it comes to the information in the application form, it is impossible to mark. And that's how it works. The judges mark you on your application form. And your application form is not just the application form, it is also your appendix and your portfolio and all of that information that they can gather about you under each heading. They will then interview you the next day, and areas that they haven't got information from, they will try and get more because they're desperately trying to give you marks. So, like, if you've done something extraordinary, don't forget to mention it. You know, that's really important. So, best fresher and best individuals application forms are quite similar. I said best new is one of the societies, so it's very similar. I'm just going to show you best individual and most improved in a moment. But if I just quickly run through the others, best mental health and best green do not have an interview, do not have a portfolio, do not have an appendix. They are an application form. And it requires about 4 pages at the end, which is in fact your portfolio. And so you've got your questions asked, you've got all your tips, the same as all the other applications, but they are a little bit simpler for the simple reason that the best green initiative goes to Antashka. And the best mental health is going to be judged by the USI mental health officer and representatives from another mental health group in Ireland, which will be uploaded onto the website. We're just finalising details. So that's quite exciting, and they go out to them. So people are hearing about how wonderful the societies are, that aren't just all of us who know how wonderful the societies are, and they will just tell us the marks. A best promotional video is there will be judges looking at your best promotional video. You are asked questions, it's really important to answer them, and you upload a link to your video as well. Best poster and best photo this year are actually popularity contests. So best photo has been that for a long time. So basically there's a gallery put up. All the colleges have an X number of votes. You can't vote for yourself, and you vote and the winner is chosen. And we've done the same this year with best poster. So there is a page, a 1 A4 page that goes with the best poster. And it is really important that you fill that in a way that the people looking at it can read your poster. No AI, no, we need to, like, we're not looking at AI generated posters, and we're not looking for posters that are designed by professionals. All of that information is there. But same with the photo. The photo, you don't put anything in the photo that will identify what college you are. But obviously with best poster, it would be a really bad poster if you didn't know what college and what society it's from. So that is obvious. But it's really going to be about the visual impact of your poster. And then what effort did you put into it? You know, did I just go onto Canva and say, make me a poster, and it generated? That is not what we're looking for. Okay, is that clear on those? There's some hints down here for you as well, portfolio tips, finance tips. So we've just got about enough time to pop in to best individual and most improved. Okay, stop sharing and share. So best individual is interesting, and so is best fresher, because now we're actually trying to talk about the person. Another top tip I would give you for these is the appendix here. It can be a very good idea to do like a summary of the societies they were involved with, like how many events did they do, who's on the committee, like what was their finances like. Particularly handy if you've been collating this data through the year, because if a best individual was saying I was involved in these 4 societies and I did this, this, and this, the very simple way is to show just how big or how great those societies were that you were part of. So that's a handy tip. Again, you've got all your information again in the first thing here, what should be in your appendix, And then, so things like constitution, finance, interview reports, if available, are the following info. When was your society established? Committee members, number of membership, list of events, and other relevant info. Additional reference letters in your portfolio. Great one for individual and fresher is the testimonials. And while you do provide 2 letters, it is a really good idea to put in testimonials from other people. And that can look really good in your portfolio. Photos of you actually at something. And sometimes it's not the Instagram, oh, I'm looking fabulous. It's, those ones where you look like you're working really hard. You don't have to look beautiful. You don't have to be poised. It's just to see you in action. So don't, as somebody said, don't to put in those ugly photos. They're really important as well. And posters of events. Now, it's not I went to everything, because we really want to know, what did you organize? So we want to see that in as well. And there is an opportunity in both to give a little bit of feedback about you prior to this year. So keep an eye out for that as well, so we get a full idea. And if you're involved in loads of other things and not just societies, they can kind of be mentioned as well. So you can hear what society you're involved with this year, and do this in chronological order. List out all the roles, events, things that you have done with your society. How have you helped the society you're involved with develop and grow this year? So it can be quite hard to talk about yourself, but it really is better to be in the first person, not and Mary did this and Mary did that. It's good. We want to hear from you, okay? And it can be difficult to be kind of tooting your own horn, but this is not the moment to, be full of shyness. You need to step out there and let yourself shine. What were your 2 proudest accomplishments this year with your society? Tell the judge why you were proud of them and what they mean to you. And you've got 2 separate accomplishments, so it's not like tell us everything. We're not asking you to tell us everything. What significant contribution have you made to the societies that you were involved with in previous years? So there's 15 marks for that as well. Explain the top 2 challenges you encountered in your society work this year, and they're divided out into 2 challenges. Again, I had a challenge, but let me tell you how I overcame it. How did your society's work impact campus life in your college this year? There's 5 marks for that. Tell us about 2 skills you developed and anything else you'd like to share. So they're not the biggest application forms, but by the time you'd actually fill all that out and tell people everything, it is a bit of work. And I would definitely recommend, if you've got a best individual or best fresher going, it's kind of the society needs to step up and put those little reports together for them. Help them with their application. Check for spelling errors. Say, why are you not telling people about all the great things you do? You're being way too modest. And when it comes to the interview, they can also bring a person in with them if they like. And the most improved is my last one. We've got a few minutes, and I want to give you a few minutes to actually talk. But this one is, okay, so most improved is an interesting one. You have to be in existence for more than 2 years, and you have to have improved. So if you were quite good last year and a small little bit better this year, you're not going to win most improved, okay? If you were dead last year and you were extremely mediocre this year, but because you were dead last year, you improved, that's probably not going to win it either. So what you're trying to look at is a society that's great this year and was not great last year. And therefore, it means that everything is about your improvement. So it's a tough application to fill in, because you not only are talking about this year, as you can see, all that information is there again, but you're actually talking about this year, last year. Your aims and objectives possibly will be the same unless you change them. And if you change them for the betterment of society, you'd include that. So every time you talk about this year, then you say, and last year we did this, both this year we did this. Again, you can see last year, this year for membership and all the rest. And sometimes it's not about numbers. For example, last year you held 20 events. We showed 20 films, if you're a film society. This year we showed 15 films, but we did all these other things. We had a director come in and talk to us. You still end up with 15 events, but your events were more varied, they were more interesting. You thought outside the box. So it's not necessarily always about the numbers. Oh, this society had 10 events last year, they had 50 events this year. If the events were just, and we met every week, and there's 24 events already. We just met every week and we had tea, which is a nice thing to do. But if that was the only difference in your events, and so you're really looking to show the improvement, and it tells you over and over again, please compare. So I don't know how many most improved applications I have looked at where they tell me all about this year, and I'm going, would you put it into context of last year? So you repeatedly asked this year, last year. So your appendix will be a this year appendix, last year appendix. Your portfolio in each section will talk about these are the photographs from our events last year. We could only find 3 because they didn't upload anything to social media. We couldn't find anything. Here are all our photos from this year, and there appeared to be the same 3 people at all the events. Sometimes the society would have been so dead last year that you even have difficulty finding the information. But talk to your society's officer. If end of year reports are done, you'll be able to find information there. If you look on their social media, that's a good place to find out just how quiet they were. Again, finance, you're talking about this year, last year, and again, under every Instagram, we put up 3 posts last year and nobody engaged with us. But wait and we show you this year. So everything is this year, last year, and all of them have this little bit at the end, okay? So that is that. And what I just wanted to show you very, very last is the uploading your application form, okay? So if we are in, let's see now, where is sorry, no. While I'm doing this, has anybody got any questions? Okay, so in this here, it's got a section. You have to go back out to BICS Awards, and I go here and I go upload your application form here. Okay, so you start filling this in with all your data. Now you have a couple of choices. One is that each individual society can upload their application, or maybe your society's office will say, look, get all your data into us and we'll upload for you. It doesn't really matter, but it's really important that we do have your contact details as well on your application so that we can contact you. So I have got the, oh yeah, here. So let me just share this with you now into the, okay. So this is the form that I can look at in an editable form. So there you're asked your information, your email address. So use any Gmail, okay? And then you pick what college you're with, your details. Are you a small or large college, and which application form is this for? Then the next section is going to be all about your actual thing. So that's best social, cultural. Upload your application here, upload your appendix here, and if your portfolio is virtual, put your link in here. And this is the big thing I want to talk to you. So obviously you can still bring your physical portfolios. That is fine. We haven't moved away from that yet. It's the direction we're trying to go in, because once you collate all the data for your portfolio, the act of printing it out, building boxes and all of this can take a long time. Now, some societies love that and they think this is the most fun I had all year, and that's absolutely fine. For your portfolio, have it of a size that the adjudicators can carry it, because they have to they wander around the place with these things. So don't make them so heavy. But we're really, really happy to take a virtual portfolio. So Canva is a good suggestion. So in Canva now, you can actually create your entire portfolio in Canva, and it has an option to create a link in Canva that just creates what looks like a PDF ultimately. You can do the same in Gmail, as you know. You could create it in a slides, for example, and then you can actually share that, view all. You can do the same in Microsoft Word, and there are many other pieces of software you can use. You could decide, look, a little website. Whatever it is that you just need to put in a link in there, If you want to put it on a USB stick, you can do that as well. But if you can make a shareable link, the really important thing is double, triple check that your link actually works. Okay? Have you any other points on that one there? And you can see here, you pick all the different types of applications and they're all the same. Some of them then won't have appendixes because that would be the sort of one it is. There's just a disclaimer and all the rest, and that's it. And then what you will get is a receipt, which will give you all the information that you have sent in. Okay? So voila. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
I only came into the second half of the meeting. Did you touch on like what the interview is, how long it is, and like what aspects?
Sure. So we have a wonderful video because our two chief adjudicators, their entire video last week was actually top tips for portfolios and interviews. So your interview is 15 minutes long. If you're representing more than one category, make sure that we know so that it doesn't clash. There will be 2 to 3 adjudicators, and what they're actually trying to do is give you marks. So go in there and be friendly. If you've got, you can have up to 4 people in your interview. Have people kind of ready to answer different questions. Don't go in and start giving out to each other. Don't go in where one person is, I'm the boss, and interrupts everybody else when they try to speak. It's really good.
It'll just be me. No
Are
committee
you,
of mine
is
will be
this
there.
best individual or best fresher?
So it'll be individual and best publicity campaign and best poster.
Okay, so there's no best publicity campaign anymore. That's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a BICS a category anymore.
Right.
Best did you say best poster?
Yep.
There's no interview for best poster, and you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
get in and people choose it. So best individual, you can go in on your own, absolutely. The adjudicators, their main aim in life is to give you marks. So let them get an idea of who you are, and really get a feeling for you. And it's not the moment to be shy. But be very personable. It's a good idea when you go in, if we're over COVID now, to introduce yourself and shake hands. If you're in with the society, you might want to do something a little bit interesting. And also like if you've got a society hoodie or something. I remember our MedSoc years ago went into the judges. Now the judges have been sitting there, by the way, for hours, and it's like, what's coming next? And so when you go in, like make them excited, make them go, wow, I I'm just so happy I met that person.
Just show a little bit of pizzazz, because like I mean, like it's all about getting your personality across as well. So say for instance, MC Anime Manga, whenever we've gone in for an interview, we've done it in full cosplay, and we typically enter the room with a theme song playing just to be funny, just to kind of like, because it could be a very long day and you want to give the judges something
Exactly.
to smile about. But I've seen people go in like medical uniforms. I've seen people like society hoodies is another brilliant one. Like I've seen people, if they're in a Common Gaelic or something, coming just introduce themselves in Irish or something like that. But anything that kind of gets across the society's personality, to be like, hi, we are much more than the application we submitted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our medical society, they had really improved from just putting on a ball. So this girl ran in first in a ball gown and she collapsed. This now takes about 30 seconds because you've only 15 minutes. So you don't want to burst into song and sing for 10 minutes and then the 5 minutes left. So they ran in anyway and she collapsed, and the other 3 ran in, one in running gear, one with like medical stuff, and one with something else that they did. And it was like, oh no, our medical society has collapsed. We need to bring it back to life. CPR. We need to inject sport. So the person dressed up in sport went, yes, we've got sport in the veins now. This is great. And then the other person, it took 30 seconds, but it was like everybody was laughing. And as the judges really want to get a feeling for you. So you will get, so everything in your application form that is marked will be remarked after the interview. They won't take marks off the first set of marks that went unless they discover that you lied in your
Right.
application. Then they might say that was all a lie. But that's why you don't lie in your application.
Right.
but they remark, and that's where you can actually really up your marks. But don't lose out in your application because it's really annoying. Like, you're coming to Sligo, you've put a lot of effort to get in there. Don't just falter at the last hurdle. Make sure you've answered the questions. Get somebody else to read it, and let them see your personality. But again, as I said, no chat GPT, no rambling sentence as you're going. Will this sentence ever end? Because I don't know what they're saying to me. Okay, does that answer that question?
Yeah, I guess so.
Thank you. And do watch the video. Anybody else got a question? Because we're just 3 minutes over time. And it's going to be wonderful, by the way. BICS is like, it is my favorite event of the year, hands down. It is just wonderful. Like, if you could bottle the enthusiasm, use the opportunity to meet other societies, do go along to the peer-to-peer session. It's very informal. You just get up and talk about your society. But when you get along to the awards, you go, oh my God, they were amazing, or they were really lovely, or we should do a collab. So this is really what it's all about, and it is a lovely event, and we are all there just to make you have the best time.
Perfect. I had a very quick question, Rina, if you would like to take.
Sure. Yeah.
So is it the university that will nominate us, societies, let's say for University of Galway, if I were to send an application?
So it is different in different colleges, but a student
Does it
can.
have to be through the softball we're doing? Or?
Yes, yeah. So it's the people. So it depends on how your college works. A lot of the colleges will have their own awards, and when you win at your college, that is the person who goes forward to BICS. And some colleges don't have awards, but they have a different application process, and they pick the winners. But basically, the winners are picked. So you as an individual do not enter for BICS. You will be chosen by your college, irrespective of how they do it. You will be chosen, and then you will get ready to go to BICS. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Not at all. Anybody else got any questions?
There's ever any like burning questions as well, you can always pop over. I'm on the BICS Instagram account. If there's any like burning questions any of ye or any of your committee have, or anyone watching this has, message the list.
Absolutely. I'm chairperson at BICS.ie. Laura is secretary at BICS.ie. Dave is vice chair at BICS.ie if you want to contact any of us. And absolutely, Aoife then on the social media is a great way to get your questions answered as well. There's a lot of information on the website too, BICS.ie. It's been a joy to meet all of you. This will be uploaded over the weekend onto our website. So if anybody is looking for information, it'll be there for you. Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for coming along, Aoife, today. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey Rita, it's Aisling from MTU. How are you?
Oh, hi. Would I just pause, stop recording?
Yeah, no bother. I just wanted to quickly say I'm so sorry for showing up so late. I was actually with a student. I texted Aoife being like, I'm running about 5-10 minutes late. They were looking for a key. And I was like, lads, I have a meeting. I'm so sorry. But I'm so sorry for being late, but I'll catch up on anything that I missed anyway. But I just wanted to apologise because I felt really bad.
Did you just say you're from UL, is it?
No, MTU.
MTU, Kerry.
Cork.
Oh, very, very good. And what's your role?
So I'm society's intern. I work with Aoife Kelleher.
Oh, great. Well, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
That was somewhat useful. It is.
It actually was, to be fair, and even from last week, it was fantastic because, Rina, to be honest, I was actually late in the society's game when I was in college. But the experience I've had so far as intern is unbelievable. But again, I'm so sorry for being late. I didn't have the track of time, and I was like, I can't leave without apologising.
No, but literally, people were popping and falling out, and my internet, even though I'm Etherneted into my box, I kept falling out, and then trying to move between the downloading the application and then having to, stop sharing and resharing. But
I know.
I want today to be very practical. This is where it is on the website. This is what
This
it
is
looks
where
like.
you need it
You
110%.
know, rather than a PowerPoint with pictures. I just wanted it to be a very visceral.
That's it.
Here it is. Yeah.
No, what I'll do is I'm gonna catch up on the rest of it. Anything that I missed. I think I came in at like 20 past, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually so embarrassed. But
Oh, yeah.
I texted Aoife being like, I'm about 5-10 minutes late. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, we didn't get up and running till about 5 past while we were waiting for people to fall out and come back in again.
That's
Joys
it.
of things. Anyway, listen, mind
Perfect.
yourself, and it's lovely
Same
to meet
to
you.
you.
Cheers. Bye.
See you later. Thanks. Bye.